me. Oh, that's our clap. That's our clap. That's all right. Welcome, you guys. Welcome to LaMay Day Limelight. This is the season finale of season 2. Yes. I'm not saying that because of excitement, because I'm ready to stop filming. I'm saying that because
we made it.
We made it. I'm just extremely happy with everything that's going on.
Like, no, y'all have no idea what goes on behind the scenes. It's real. Like, it looks like it's just a camera and us, but no, it's a whole production.
It's a whole production
and,
team.
Yeah.
Editing,
planning,
social media.
Finding people to be on the show.
We got 4.
Yeah.
We got 4. So again, just want you guys to go around really quickly and introduce yourself. We're going to start on this side this time.
LaDiamond Blue.
Daniel Coronado.
Cherise Pascual.
Mike Peters.
And they are the Creative Power Rangers. What? No.
Wow. Can I be the Pink Ranger?
Yes. So what we're talking about in this segment of our season finale is, for one, as creatives, I want to know what's really grinding your gears right now. Like, is there anything in pop culture? Okay, you ready, Mike? Go ahead. What's really irking you right now?
What irks me, and it's crazy sometimes, is like there's I'm a screenwriter, director, and there's so many bad movies that come out, and I'm just like, I know that we have better stuff than this. I know we have better movies out there than this.
Yeah.
So I was like, why aren't we doing less, remakes? Let's do more original content. Let's try and break the mold a little bit more instead of trying to do the same things over and over. Let's stop remaking.
Do you think there's a specific reason because of that?
Money. It's all money at the end of the day. It's like you have a reliable source. It's like hey, instead of doing a whole movie about 8 female robbers, it's like, let's call it Oceans and let's bring it in, and you can do the exact same thing, but why did it have to be within Oceans? You could do your own thing, and it could have been amazing on its own, but you had to bring it back in.
Promising money.
It's promising money because you have the brand.
Yeah, you have a built-in. But a lot of them don't even have the box office numbers as the original. It's half as much.
Ghostbusters failed miserably, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Independence Day.
Terrible. Oh my goodness. That was such a letdown.
Well, they killed Will Smith. It was just you can't.
Will Smith didn't want to do it though.
No, but they killed him in the movie though.
The
moment you can't do the movie without the main character. You can't redo it.
That's very true.
It's like me doing Back to the Future and not having Marty McFly. It just doesn't.
You
can't
do that.
No.
Zombie Marty McFly.
I'll be done with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Zombie Will Smith.
I definitely agree with you. I think that there's definitely a lack of originality, and if you really think about the time frame in which we're in, I was born in the 1900s. That sounds weird to say. We were all born in the 1900s. And you have to remember, when we were born, there were still a lot of brand new technologies. So we do have some newer technology. Social media is taking over. We're seeing, an influx of fan movies, like the Fresh Prince thing that just dropped, which is not a real movie, you guys. I just learned that. So it needs to be. We're just becoming repetitive because we have all of these things. We've had them for 20 years or 30 years or 40 years. So it does get like that. I do kind of feel like a lot of things are redundant. Yeah. So I totally feel you on that. What about you as far as being in the musical spectrum?
As far as being in the thing that irks me, right?
Yes.
Okay, one is people's word. I have a lot, okay? So, you get a lot of people that says, oh yeah, you can record here. Oh yeah, we have to do something. Let's make something, And me, I'm the next day I'm like, hey, when are you free? Let's cook up. Or hey, when are you free? Let me come check out the studio. It's always getting past that mark. That's the difficult, that kind of holds me back as far as an artist and where I could go, so then you go into that mode of, okay, I gotta do it all myself now, I gotta press the record button, I gotta make the beat, I gotta, you gotta mix it, write the music, go to the shows, and it can get overwhelming, especially being an independent artist. And I know you as a filmmaker, it takes a whole crew to make a film. Right. Now imagine if that whole crew was standing everything up, and now you're doing everything.
He knows.
I've been there.
You're playing Denzel and you're playing the behind the camera. You're the
costume designer. You're the audio engineer.
That gets really hard, but nothing's easy when you're going to a higher place. So then you get to laugh about those moments where, remember, I did all that myself. But that is a huge pet peeve. And I guess another one is and I guess all creators go through this moment when you're not as established and your following isn't as huge, so then you're no longer as a priority.
Yes.
You know, and it's more so not my talent anymore.
Yeah.
Let me hear your voice, or let me see what you have.
Let me look at your numbers.
Oh, what's your following?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's not much, but it could be if you listen to me and we can do something together, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, we all have that moment, but I think social media definitely contributed to that when it's more so the numbers, because it's people that are making it in the music industry, well, not so making it, but are going places in the music industry based off of their following. Now they got 1 million followers, now let me be a singer. Now they got 1 million followers, let me be a rapper.
Yeah.
Now I got 1 million followers, let me do clothing line.
I went viral, so now I can do this.
Now, you know, you know, been viral off of cussing out your mama, and now you singing cussing out your mama. Like, that's deep, you know, but it's the new day and age, and you kind of got to work your way.
Definitely frustrating.
You got to work your way.
Yeah, and how do you combat that? I know you experienced that having a podcast.
In podcasting, I think one of the most frustrating thing is feeling like there's no room at the table. So it kind of goes along like to flow into what I'm doing. A lot of times people feel offended by the work that you might create, and they might try to call you out. They might try to like do little subliminals. Well, that looks a lot similar like what I'm doing. Or somebody might say, well, I can't do this because you're already doing it. No, you can do what I'm doing. You can do exactly be in the exact same lane. You just got to spice it up and add your own twists and funk to it. Because it all comes down to the fact of the matter is that we all could be living in the same city and have a very similar experience, but who do you go home to? What's the story that's getting told there? Because that's something that you can build off of, and that's something that I don't have. Does that make sense? So it's like everybody thinks that everybody makes the table seem so small when the table's actually really big. And growing up as a Latino, which I already tapped into a little bit earlier, you learn how to make something out of nothing. You know what I mean?
Amen.
When you don't have enough food, you know how to share with the family. So why can't we do the same thing with our creative endeavors? Why does so-and-so who has 20,000 followers get all the resources easily, but somebody who might have less not, and their content could be as much as theirs? You know what I mean? So it's like the table should always be extended. You know what I mean? Paper plate or not.
Shout out to everybody who didn't repost our episode.
Right.
Which, I totally get it. I totally get it. You know, we have a select few that have, but you know, it's all good because at the end of the day, we're gonna keep grinding.
They had a good time.
They had a great time on our show.
All tea, all shade. I got love for you though.
We have love for all of you. No, but it's a thing, and you know, and I hate that we live in that day and age, but you know, social media is everything, and everybody's so like, oh, this is my page. I have to be very protective of what I post.
And then when you don't get, you know, that recognition, sometimes you start to minimize yourself, and you start to minimize your voice and your talent that you have. You're like, well, you can maybe subscribe if you might want to on Friday after you're done doing it. You know, you start to say like, well, squeeze me in whenever, when actually you should actually be bragging about yourself, because nobody is gonna promote you the way that you promote yourself. And so, because I might tell you what I do, you might get the wording a little bit mixed up when you tell so-and-so, so you got to tell your story because somebody else is going to tell the story for you.
That's a good point. What about for you as far as your acting and what's grinding your gears?
What's grinding my gears? There's, I think, 3 things in general that are grinding my gears.
I'm ready.
And I'll get specific. One, okay. So Crazy Rich Asians was amazing. Where is all the stuff that was supposed to happen with all the Asians in fucking film and TV that has not happened as a result of that? That's one, but I'm going to go in deeper. Okay, so I just watched a show, Friends from College, the other day. It's a good show, but I saw the Marianne character. I'm sick and tired of seeing Asian people as like these wise, I've got a grandma with some herbs and I can look at the leaves and tell you when shit's happening. We're not fucking magic, dude. We're people. We make mistakes. We don't know everything. Like, come on.
Plus she was really small.
It's such
a little tiny squeaky voice. And it's
just much deeper than that. to irresponsibility in filmmaking and writing. Like, let's not act like the last 5 years didn't happen. Mm-hmm. Let's stop writing women from a male gaze, from a male point of view. Mm-hmm. Let's stop using, buzzwords like empowering women, and all of a sudden we're just going to put like a strong woman in front of shit and make it really superficial. Yeah. When we're powerful, we're always powerful. We're not empowered. We're born with power.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Stop acting like the last 5 years didn't happen. Right. Like, Me Too didn't happen. Mm-hmm. Stop being irresponsible as filmmakers and storytellers. Yeah. We can say so much more with the platform we have, and start educating people and start nurturing younger voices to see outside of the box and tell their stories and be encouraged to do that thing. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Woo. No, I love it. Yeah, go ahead. And then last one. Like the fucking Oscars, man. Like, I get it. Like, did they find every Asian person that worked in post-production who died last year and put them in the in memoriam? Like, okay, guys, I get it. You're making an effort, but like, dude, it's so obvious. And then Serena Williams, like, hello, like, what were these people doing? Like, I get it. Like, you want to make it more diverse, and we people who are diverse and come from diverse backgrounds are super into that. But put some thought and meaning into it, because it's so obvious what we're trying to do.
Don't half-ass it, because you're doing the
No, it's hashtag Oscar so ethnic. Like, I get it. Like, and I love that. I want there to be more of that, but I want it to come from a place that has meaning and is heartfelt and is authentic, and coming from a place that is representing intelligent and responsible storytelling. And that's that.
Yeah, go for it.
So you kind of tapped into something that kind of just triggered something in me. And again, coming from the Latino standpoint, because most of the media that I consume is from the Latino lens, or Latinx lens, excuse me. But one of the things is, like, we are so much more than loteria. We're so much more than Selena. We're so much more than tacos and conchas and cafecito aquí, cafecito allá. Like, we are just, we are, so, our culture runs so deep. You know what I mean? So, like, the whole, like,
it's very
the mainstream Mexican culture is not exactly us, but the things that get the praise and the like, all the emojis and everything is the things that are like loteria and shit. And I'm like, bro, I love Selena, but she, there's other things that represent us. Like, she is not the end-all, say-all of who we are. And so I feel like if people could just tap into their own identities as brown or black individuals in the Latino diaspora, yes. I think we could go so much further, because the oversaturation is getting kind of tired to me. Like, add your own spice, your own twist to it. And that's that. I want to piggyback onto that. We need to, like, watch one day at a time. This show it's canceled again, and it's always on the verge of being canceled every freaking season.
And what happens? They get saved.
I totally agree with that. Like, you need to support all of those things, and it's sad that sometimes we don't get
because
that
that's the way that the little different voices can get out there, even though it's
exactly. To piggyback off of you, I feel like these stereotypes hang on for so long because we have people or one type of person telling everyone's story.
Yes.
Whereas to my black woman, myself telling my black woman's story, and you telling your story. We have this one person, this one type of person telling everyone's stories. So the story is never going to change. It's going to stay stereotypical, and it's going to stay in that. As long as that one person is in control of everyone's story.
Right. You bring up a good point, because I remember listening to a podcast that Issa Rae was on recently, and she spoke about the pressure that she feels for having to be that black woman that represented all black women all the time. And she's like, yo, no, like, this was my personal experience that I wrote this episode about, or this is what I wrote about in regards to just what I experienced. I can't express every single black woman in the world and what they went through. I can't do that. It's physically impossible. So I think even we have a responsibility within ourselves to not hold them to that accountability. Like, I can't expect Issa Rae, because I'm not gonna lie, when she first came out with Insecure, I was like, that's not how it is. No, they don't beat it. But I have to remember her experience is her experience. But because I've been so, compressed within media as far as what I do see, I'm expecting that. So once we do have that, more of that inclusion and more of that diversity, I think it's going to grow, and we're going to see, it may not be an awkward black girl. It may be a light-skinned girl. It may be a chocolate girl, whatever it may be. But we have to stop holding them to that and stop, coming at them. I think we come at them a lot.
Oh yeah, Black Twitter, Black everything.
Black Twitter's rough.
We are rough, and I'm like,
I couldn't imagine.
You need to
chill out
a little bit.
Can you do it? Right?
Because can you do it?
Can you
Hit
do
that
it?
No, baby. You can't. You know. That's how it be.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Josh? What's grinding your gears?
You know what's grinding my gears? I think pretty much everyone touched on it now, and it's just particularly what Daniel said is like how he expressed how in the media, I know me being Latino, it's always represented one way, and like what I see on the media is not at all a representation of what my experience is as a Latino, as a LGBT Latino in the media. I'm like my family is from Central America. I don't have Mexican descendancy or even Caribbean descendancy. It's in Central America. So like my experience, my food and my music is different than what I always see. You know, and it's so far and few times, like almost never, that I get to see real representation that speaks to my experience. Right. The first time I saw that ever was not like on anything mainstream. It wasn't in a movie or a show. It was on BuzzFeed when a group of Latinos created a show called Pero Like, and it was like representation of very different types of Latinos. I was like, oh my God, this is the first time I got to see myself. I got to see, you know, something. And I always, my whole platform is always about encouraging storytelling. And, you know, because I believe that through stories we get to inspire. It's through stories, when people get to see people telling stories, they get to dream. They get to see themselves, because if they're only seeing the same storyteller, they don't see themselves, and so it doesn't allow them to grow. So that my thing is we need more storytellers. We need more storytellers of all backgrounds, of all, just being completely inclusive. So that no one feels left out, because I think ultimately at the end of the day, everyone to some capacity wants to be represented.
Right, but I think what needs to happen with that is that storytellers need to find a platform and need to feel free to be able to tell their stories, not feel pressured to have to mimic someone else's, because this is what got put on. This is what's popping right now, so let me do this instead of being my authentic self.
Right. So it comes down to tapping into a lot of different things, because sometimes you might want something to work out, but that's really just not the card that the universe or that God or the creator has for you. You know what I mean? Sometimes those things that you might really want to do just don't work out, and you have to just try different things, because what's for you is for you. Like, your time is never going to pass you up. You always have to just be going with whatever idea you have. Write it down, speak about it, do whatever you got to do, but make sure that you work on those ideas, because I'm coming from a more like a spiritual like standpoint. I believe that God gives you talents, and you need to use those, because you are given them and entrusted so much power within yourself. And to me, it's just so hard for me to understand that we're supposed to live on this world and not use any powers that we have within us. Like you're crazy to tell me that I don't have any type of superpower, because I'm out here working and surviving every single day. And so these are the things that we kind of need to start documenting a little bit more of, and really tapping into our own powers and making sure that we do what we want to do with our life, because that's what's going to fulfill us.
And I mean, do you all feel like some sort of responsibility to tell these stories, or is it just more? What about you, Mike?
Well, it's like a voice that's in your head that's just like, you have to get it out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't write because I feel like, well, at the same time, I do agree with you. Like, you know, everybody has that built into them. I think Jay-Z said it best. Like, every human being has genius level talent. It's about you finding what that is and tapping into it. So it's like, at the end of the day, like me, I found it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was like a hard road to get there, but I found what it is. And it's like, so because it's there, I'm always going to constantly, you know, tell it. Even if I was on a deserted island, I'm still going to be trying to tell my story. That's who I am, you know?
That part. Yeah, I think for me as well, too, it's just, we're all storytellers. And that's what I'm hearing from each and every one of you, is that creatives are storytellers. We tell stories.
No matter what
you're doing.
You're right. Speaking or singing, you know?
And I didn't realize that until I was listening to all of you guys say, I'm telling my story. So, okay, we talked about what's grinding your gears. So now on the more optimistic side, what are you guys really enjoying as far as what's happening within either your careers or entertainment, your industry, arts? We'll start on this side.
Okay, well, as far as me, one thing that reciprocates back to me that allows me to continue doing what I love is when I get, you know, feedback, or when I get a DM from a stranger like, hey, because I do like side jobs, like in music videos, like short films, stuff like that. Hey, I saw you like in Earl Sweatshirt's video. You did so well. Even if I just had to stand there, I'm like, thank you, I just had to stand there and, you know, rap a few lyrics. But, you know, for him he went to my page, typed in my name and wrote it. He didn't have to do that. So just moments like that just does something to you, like, wow, thanks. Surreal. You know, it's real. And then when you get someone from high school or middle school or college, like, oh my gosh, girl, you doing your thing. You know, I remember I saw you perform in school. I know you was really doing it, but you doing it. I'm like, yeah, I'm really doing it. But, you know, thank you. But, you know, the difference between doing it and really doing it is big. There's people doing it.
Yeah, and I think we
people
forget
that's really doing it.
We forget that. Like, we're all really doing it. And even though we may not have $1 million in the bank yet,
we don't give ourselves enough credit.
We don't give ourselves enough
credit. And then when you
get
so caught up in really doing it, you don't even stop and say, dang, I'm really doing it. Somebody else has to stop you and be like, girl, you really doing it. And I'm like, I am, huh? Thank you. Because I've been so busy doing it, you know? So that moment does so much.
That's
like,
awesome.
Girl,
so
sure, you are doing it. It's okay. You ain't got it, but you're doing it, you know? So that does, you know, that just inspires me the most.
I love that. Dope.
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
What brings you joy as far as either in your own personal field or in the entertainment sector, arts in general?
What gives me joy? I can piggyback off of that. That same thing that you get people hitting you up about the work that you're doing, and sometimes it'll be like something small, like somebody that you knew from like elementary school liked one of your posts that goes back to the work that you're doing, and you're like, oh, okay, even though if you were just scrolling, you at least double tapped it or whatever, you know. But those messages do really come in handy, because people think that like oh, they don't need to know that I like what they're doing, like they already know that they're doing it, you know. But I'm sure Beyonce wouldn't mind, you know, a little like shout out from her homegirl from the 4th grade or whatever, you know. They'll be like, oh damn girl, like, I mean, who wouldn't know who Beyonce is? But you know what I mean? It doesn't matter how high you get or how far along in the journey you get, as long as you get some type of recognition from the people that you love, and even strangers, it just really like fuels you, because you really feel like you're walking in your purpose. And there's nothing better than feeling like you're walking in your purpose. Even though I might work as a server, I still know that I'm working and doing what I'm supposed to be doing at that moment. It's not my purpose and it's not my end all say all. But when people do say that what I'm doing is helping them, it's just like, well, damn, I didn't know my voice could do that.
Yeah.
We got to keep doing that then.
Yeah.
You know?
Dope. What about you, Miss Lady?
Okay, so the tide is turning in the industry, and it is turning. It can turn for the better if we don't just, you know, give in to inclusivity and being all about inclusivity for inclusivity's sake, but being responsible. With that said, I work for the Latino Film Institute. I am a teacher for the Youth Cinema Project, and I teach kids how to make movies. And it's a year-long program where filmmakers, we teach them how to become lifelong learners through filmmaking. And the best thing ever was, a couple weeks into it, we asked, my co-mentor and I asked the children, like, okay, so who knows what a director is? And 2 or 3 kids said, oh, it's the guy who. But it turns out we're making 3 films this year. We have 2 female directors, 1 male director. We have 3 female DPs, all in charge of the lenses, the cameras, and everything. And we have predominantly female-run teams in our school. And they were elected in their positions. They wanted to take them on. They wrote the scripts. 3 female writers, like, fantastic. And
That's
so
awesome.
It is really inspiring for me to be able to inspire future generations to become confident in being able to tell their own stories in whatever way they can possible. And they're not waiting for someone to say it's okay. Just do it. Do it. You know?
Ladies who lead.
Yes. Love it. So what's inspiring you, Mr. Mike P?
The biggest thing going with me right now is the short film that I just finished. So it's called Breeze Company, which for me, it's like every day I'm constantly working on it, because outside of it just being a short, I want it to turn into a feature. So I'm penning every day. But what for me is beautiful in that aspect is the first short film that I've done. So I did the web series, the 10 episodes are all like 10, 15 minutes, but this one we put like a lot of effort into this. Like I had a bigger crew this time. I had like real lighting setups. I had it all. Like it like real locations. It just felt like beautiful doing that,
Yeah.
and I actually got accepted into my first film festival now. So I'm like,
Yay.
oh yeah. So I'm trying to just keep that ball
it
rolling.
going.
Yeah.
Keep it going. That's awesome. What about you, Mr. j.Pin? What's inspiring you? What's got your gears not grinding?
What's inspiring me is this show.
Hey,
You know what I mean? It's just
Yes.
it's come full circle.
Mhm.
Just with this being our second season finale, like that's crazy. Like
Yeah.
we just talked about, you're doing it. We're
doing
doing
it.
it.
Doing it.
Well, and I see my circle. I see people around me becoming creative, doing things that maybe they didn't see for themselves before. So there is aspects of inspiration that I get from the people around me, people that are achieving things, people that are rooting for you, people that are rooting for me. That's surreal. We announced it a couple episodes ago, but I'm now the senior editor at Obvious Magazine, which is like a magazine that I've been following for years, and I've been friends with the editor-in-chief, and just, my own personal experiences, I've always cultivated good relationships, and I did that. I've nurtured relationships, and I think that's what's gotten me here. It's what's got me to know Sharíck, and my relationships have gotten me to where I'm at today. So I think it's getting to see that within myself, and I'm starting to see that amongst my peers.
Yes.
So that's what's inspiring me. And then just continuing to encourage people to tell stories.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So for the same for me. Ditto. No. I probably would just say as a whole, I just feel as though the creative community is just growing and growing and growing, and we're seeing multifaceted perspectives of some of the same things, some of the different things, and it inspires me, and that's what inspired us to even have this show, is looking for that inspiration, looking for these storytellers, and on a more personal level, just seeing how I am inspiring people and not really realizing it, but allowing it to click. I had a little cousin who I don't talk to very often, but she reached out to me recently and said, hey, can I come down to LA with you? I'm really interested in journalism, and to know that I inspired her to do that is like, oh. And I really genuinely, wholeheartedly have the feeling that if I can have her even go further than me, then I did a good job. If she can go further than me, or anyone else that I can help nurture, even some of our interns that we've had, I've watched them all grow and do amazing things. And if they go further than me, then my job is done. I don't have to be at the top. And I think another thing that's inspiring me as a collective is just seeing how everybody is rooting for each other. I know within my own personal circle, a lot of people are like, oh, you go, girl. Oh, you go. Oh, you do this. Oh, yes. You see the comments on social media, but I think people are starting to genuinely come together and realize that there's a seat for everyone at the table. There's enough W's for everybody.
Enough W's for everybody.
Enough W's. You get a W. You get a W. You get a W. We all get W's, So that's what's really inspirational for me. And like I said, all the storytelling. So I wish all of you the best.
Thank you.
I know you guys are going to do the best. I don't even have to wish it. I just know
You're
it's going to all
doing it.
happen. So we're all going to stay in touch. And I want to thank you guys for coming on to our season finale. I feel so blessed to be in your presence.
You need an episode called "What's the Top?" Like, as a creator, what's going to the top?
Yeah.
Really, what is?
And we're
making
going
it?
to have you back to season 3. Okay.
Because we coming back.
All right. So let's just go around really quickly. I want to make sure everybody gets your social media, and then we're going to do that one last time, because you're going to follow our guests. Okay.
Yes.
So go ahead, Mike.
Call me Mike P. All platforms.
That's it.
I'm Cherry Cola on Instagram and on Twitter and on Facebook, and that will all be listed down here.
And I'm Daniel Coronado. I am on Instagram and Twitter like that. I also have my podcast page on Instagram at The Plot Twist Podcast. Find it on all the major streaming sites. And also, please follow our podcast network that we have called Deacon Media. That's where you can find all of our podcasts that are part of the network. So stay tuned for more content from us.
I'm LaDiamond Blue. You can stay tuned with my music, my content at LaDiamondBlue.com, or you can follow me at LaDiamond Blue on all platforms.
Awesome.
Well, you already know where you find me. All right.
You find me right there too.
j.Pin Notes. That's Twitter, Instagram,
everything.
My Twitter been popping lately.
Hey, man.
It is. Ever since I
just followed you. So
I'm
gonna see
Daniel followed me. So
I'll let y'all know.
But yeah, you know, I'm j.Pin Notes. I'm writing my notes. Just stay tuned. I've got some really exciting things happening throughout the spring and summer.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's what it is. Same here, and I'm Sharíck LaMay. You know where to find me. Everything's going to be written down here at the bottom. I do want to say thank you to j.Pin for this amazing season. This season has been great. It always gets better and better each season.
So wait till season 3.
Season 3 about to
be We're already planning. We will be back in the fall.
We will be back in the fall.
It's gonna be lit. We starting to get booked.
Okay.
We getting calls, y'all. We getting calls.
Doing it.
Yes. So we also want to, of course, give a huge shout out to ’Pin Studios and Chris for always housing us in this amazing facility. Thank you to all of our interns and our helpers. Shout out to Malik and Miku, Alyssa and Dominga, and Justin, Rich, Alyssa, Danny, Kisa, everybody.
Yes.
Just everybody. We love you. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for shining your light. Thank you for just being amazing creatives. Thank you for watching. And we out. You know, we just gonna party it up. Thank you guys.